are families under God, and we will praise the name of the Lord.
Welcome to this program, Families Under God. Thank you so much for choosing to watch our program before you watch the difficult news that are about to come. Because always news are about the bad things that are happening. But we always bring you the good news. So be with us and come to be with us every Thursday, 12:30 to 2:30, Cabernet Gardens. And I know you will be blessed, like you're going to be blessed watching this program. Today, we have a wonderful, wonderful speaker, our sister, Esther, and she will be properly introduced a little bit later. But for now, I want you to know that we expect you every Thursday. May God bless you.
Good evening. We are so happy to have I want to call you a friend, Esther Muchemi.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Esther, how I met you.
Uh-huh.
Going through YouTube, I see this interview of a lady, and it was so well given, and I'm listening, and then I start hearing what she's saying, and then they talked about your book. And the book is Give Me My Mountain. I am an author, I'm a writer, I'm a reader. Mm-hmm. So anytime there is a book, I am interested in books. So then I try to get your book. And I'll tell you more, but for now, this is Esther Muchemi. We are so happy to be with you. Esther, you can say hello.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
So then what I do is I email on your Facebook, and I email them because I actually went to town looking for your book. And they told me go to Textbook Center. I went there and they said, we had the books, they're all sold out. So I'm thinking, these people are not doing you justice because we are looking for your books. We should. So I emailed, I sent a messenger, and immediately there was a response. I thought, that's very good, because there are many places where you send a message and a week later, that's when they're responding or not responding. So they told me to come and get the book. I could have got it for free, but I wanted to pay because I believe whatever you sow, you reap. That's and so I bought it. And if you can see this, it's like almost I've underlined everywhere.
Wow.
It's a great book. I highly recommend it.
Thank you.
First of all, very well written. I was a professor, so for me, editing, I get angry when I see errors. Your book does not. It's really good. But one of the things I really wanted to zoom in is on the values, because you talked about values. So I'm still jumping the gun because I've not said all that you are. And there's so much to say about you. But let me just read one thing. It says, in 2017, Esther received the Global Inspiration Women Leadership Award for her ingenious efforts and accomplishments. Wow.
Thank you.
2017 Global. And then she was inducted into the Amazon's 100 Global Women Leaders Hall of Fame. And then I saw you when you gave your tribute at Bob Collymbo's funeral, and I was like, I want to know this lady. So Esther, this is very hard to be asked. Who are you in terms of business? Because we're going to talk about the values, but tell me all the businesses that you have and all that.
Let's start from, yes, today I am a business person. I am an entertainment entrepreneur. But my journey started very many years ago, as I keep wanting to remind people that I represent a common village girl that was born in Njeri in Mount Kenya. I went to the local primary school. I went to the local secondary school. I went to the local university. And after I finished my...
Hey, don't call it local, because that is the University of Nairobi. I went there too. So
I agree with you.
Yes.
Oftentimes I say I was there when it was the university, so I confirm that position.
Yes.
And after I graduated with a BCom accounting option, I was lucky, and I don't like dwelling too much on the luck because I was a good student.
Yes.
So I was among them that were taken by the large audit firms in this country, and I joined Ernst Young then as an audit trainee.
That was a prestigious.
Yes, then it was. It still is,
It
by
still
the
is,
way.
right?
And I started there as a trainee. I walked up the ladder, and at some point we moved on with one of the partners and joined PKF. And by that time, I had managed and succeeded in being a salaried partner. So.
You've gone so quickly on that. A partner is way on top there.
Yes, it is. In fact, my next position I wanted to get was actually a profit-sharing partner.
Wow.
And I waited for that for 3 years. And one of the things that I have learned over time is that I ever believed that I'm meant for greatness. And if that greatness is ever oppressed at any one time, I take full responsibility of my life. I'll stop blaming everybody, and I just want to move and manage my life. And
So
that's
what I'm hearing you say is from when you're very young, in fact you say that on your cover, on the day Esther Muchemi was born in a little village in Mount Kenya, her parents could not and so on, but you say, but you believed you had greatness and pursued it. So even while you were there, you believed there is something more than this.
There is something more about me, and that understanding of myself, sometimes I wonder how it came. And I used to define it by what my achievements are at whatever stage of my life I am. Therefore, when I was a secondary school student, for example, I decided to be number one, because when you are in school, you cannot be great if you are not position 1, 2, or 3. That's the way we were taught. When I went to the university, I decided to have a first class, and
You had a first class.
I got an upper second, but I
Yes.
desired to have a
You
first class.
aimed for it.
I aimed for it. In fact, my colleagues used to joke, especially the young men, they used to tell me, we know you, Esther, you are looking for a first class. We just want to pass.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
So for me, when I'm in university, I want to be defined by a first class. When I am in fourth form, I want to be the best student, which I was. When I was in A-levels, I want to be the best student, again, who I was. So when I started working, I still pursued my greatness. I wanted to be the best employee. And I want to say that when I got my job, I got a salary of 4,000 Kenya shillings. What I say today, I received that what I was given with a grateful heart, because I knew there were many people who were outside there who didn't have the opportunity that I had. I come across very many people, especially the generation of today, when you give them a job, the first thing they do is to complain about the salary. They forget that a few months ago, they were
They had
actually
none.
tarmacking and they had
Right.
nowhere to go. So
Right.
for me, when I got into employment, my first reaction was, yes, I received this, what I have, but I know it is not a lot. And surely it could not satisfy all my needs, but I knew that if I want to get to somewhere higher, I need to work hard. And I knew the way that I would get a salary increment. For your information, Njeri, I said, I told myself, in 6 months, I would triple the salary. How did I know that I would triple the salary? Because I knew the secret. What was the secret? As long as you are in an audit firm, there are only 2 secrets that you need to do. One is to work very hard and ensure you deliver your file on time. Because in the audit firm, you actually account for 15 minutes. Your timesheet is on 15 minutes, you know, because we charge the clients of 15 minutes interval.
Okay.
And first of all, that showed me a lot of discipline of how to
Yes.
take care and to remain accountable for my time. Not only the 8 hours in a day or the 10 hours in a day that I invest, but even my whole life. I have to account for every minute, every hour that God has given me.
You know, you're making me think. If you asked me every day what I do every 15 minutes, I don't know. But now you're bringing it even closer.
Yes.
I should be able to, in fact, that's wisdom.
Yeah, imagine 15 minutes.
15
it's
minutes.
very difficult to deal with 15 minutes. But that's a discipline I was given immediately I came out of the university and got into employment. So for me, it's very easy to deal with that, because when I was growing up, that's what I was taught. What am I trying to say? That the environment sometimes dictates and determines what you become at the end of the day. If you allow yourself to learn in every situation, come out with a lesson. Sometimes it looks like punishment, by the way, but at the end of the day, it has actually made me more accountable with my time and what I do with myself, especially now that I am my own boss. You get what I mean?
Right.
So after that, then I realized I've waited for 3 years from the time I became a salaried partner. The boardroom conversation was good because
Very good evaluations.
very good evaluation, very good conversation. I had good rapport with my partners, but for some reason, I was not getting it. And it reached a point I said, oh my God, I do not seem to be in charge anymore of the greatness and where I want to go. It's about time I take full responsibility of who I am and decide that I want to pursue my
So rather
my
than
greatness.
complain and
Yes.
say these people are blocking my progress, you knew there's another way out.
I knew there is another way, and I still know up to today there will
Yes.
always be an exit strategy for
Yes.
for argument's sake,
Right.
in where I feel it is not working right.
Yes.
Why? Because I've worked on myself, and this is important for me, that I do not blame anybody for whom I am. Many of us today, we want to blame our parents, we want to blame our pastors, we want to blame our government,
Yes,
and
yes.
everybody else except us. For me, the biggest lessons I have learned over the years is if you want to go far, start early to be accountable and to be responsible for yourself. Do what you must do to get where you have to get. Make decisions that you must make to get where you want to go. I'm not saying it is always easy,
Right.
definitely not, but with the mindset that you want to be who you want to be, I guess it makes it a lot easier than if you are on a mindset of you want to be given, that you deserve it. I don't know, and all that. So for me, that has determined a lot of who I am today. So what did I do? I did what I needed to do. And what I needed to do at that point is to get out of that place that was not allowing me to be who I am, and I resigned. In fact, when my partners got my resignation letter, they actually said the letter was crafted. Those were the words they used, because for me, I was not coming from a bad place. It's not that we had disagreed in any way. They thought we are okay, you know. Maybe I had not pushed my ask hard enough, I don't know.
What do you mean by that? You had not pushed your ask. What does that mean?
You know, today where I am, and you will see it when you read my book, I so much believe in asking. I
Yes.
so much believe today in demanding. I so much believe that once I know what I'm made of, I will ask from myself. I'll ask from my friends. I'll ask from my parents. Whoever is holding it, it's like I demand, release it, because I must get it.
Give me my mountain.
Give me my mountain. So that's whom I am today. So that's why retrospectively I say, perhaps I didn't ask hard enough. Maybe if I had asked hard enough, I would have got it. But today, I consider it all good.
Yes.
I would say with no fear for contradiction, it works for me. And you see, the Bible says that all things work for good to them that love the Lord.
Right.
I think I do believe it worked out for good. I may not have fully understood what it meant then, but today, I can retrospectively say, if I didn't do it, by the way, Njeri, I usually ask myself, God, if I didn't do this, for example, when I lost my husband in the year 2007, that time I was deep in employment, and my children had to go to university in the same year, and there were 2 kids, and they were going to UK. I today ask myself, if I was employed by then, would I have afforded to take my children to the university?
Most likely not.
The lifestyle we live today, if I was not, would I have afforded to live that? So I know, even, and this is what I say sometimes, Njeri, if you are faithful to God and you honestly from the depth of your heart are faithful, I will say, even in my ignorance, there are things that God has done for me, even when I did not understand it. In my ignorance, there are positions that God has defended for me, even when I didn't understand. And when I learned that, all the more I'm humbled to align myself to who God says I am. Because at the end of the day, that is what is important. And the most important thing of who I am is that I'm a child of a king.
Praise God.
I belong to my Father.
Yes.
And because I belong to him, he loves me so much that whether the world thinks it or not, I have confidence, I have conviction that I'm a child of a king, and I bless and honor God for that.
And I love that. I love that confidence and that sense of greatness. You know, in Kenya and in African context, we tend to, in the name of being humble, pretend we are not all that we are. But that's not what you are saying. You're not saying, hey, I'm all this. What you're saying is deep inside, because I'm a child of God, there is this thing that says, give me that mountain. God has a mountain for me, and I can't settle on this little hill, so I'm going for the mountain. And what you're saying, and I identify with that, all of us have that inner. There's something more than this. There's something more than, because when you stop thinking that way, you become hopeless.
Yes, absolutely. And imagine, Njeri, you were created with a purpose. I
Yes.
was created with a purpose. And let me tell you, one of the things I have said, and I say severally, is that God did not create failures. And that I know. And failure is a creation of man. Whether it is other people outside you, or the society at large, or you yourself, you are the one who created the mentality that you can be a failure. But when God created you, he had beautiful plans for you.
Yes.
He had an excellent purpose for you.
Yes.
But there's one thing that people get it wrong, because if you don't discover your purpose, if you don't get the clarity of your purpose, you will continue trying one thing and getting out of it.
Imitating other people.
Imitating other people, doing the what of other people. But you need to discover what is yours, what is your destiny, what is your inheritance. That is what it is important. Once you discover that, and this is what I believe in, once you discover that, it is like the worlds aligns to help you get there.
Now, once you discover your purpose,
Yes.
I'm thinking
And it's
you're
a
the
bit deeper
CEO
than
of
that.
Samchi.
Yes.
But when you're leaving that company, Samchi was not there. So you could not have
Absolutely not.
discovered that.
No, absolutely not.
So connect this.
What was I chasing at that point? That time I was chasing greatness.
Okay.
And that along the way has been a fundamental principle statement as far as I'm concerned. I may not, and truly, my greatness has come through many ways. You get what I mean? As a mother, I believe God has honored me to be a good mother and to raise my children in a
Yes,
good way.
yes.
Because again, I have believed that God will make me a good mother, if you get what I mean. Because for some of us, and I'm thankful that I belong to that, we are come from that position where we know it's not by us.
Yes.
There is a higher might that helps us. And that is why for me, God is central to me. And without God, I would maybe operating from a position of limitation. But the fact that I know and I so much believe in this God who hears and who understands me and who talks to me, it makes a lot of difference. So at that point, yes, I did not know exactly what I was going out for. And therefore, my first stopping point was I started an audit firm called
Because
Esther.
that's what you knew.
Absolutely,
Yes,
Njeri.
yes,
There
yes.
you go.
Yes.
So when I got out, the easiest thing for me to do then was an audit firm. But there's something I want to talk about that because I see it it's very common, especially among, oh my God, let's say among the young people.
Yes.
And it's where, when I left my audit firm, when I not audited the auditing, remember I had worked as an auditor for more than 10 years. Because of that, I honestly had good relationship to be a salaried partner. Having come from the bottom of the ladder,
Yes.
I had networks,
Right.
I had clients.
Right.
I would easily have worked with a certain number of clients to start my audit firm. But the issue of honesty and integrity would never have allowed me to do that. The fact that when I worked for these people, they fend me. I clothed myself from the salary. I educated my children to a certain level. There is always something that is, and you know, Njeri, it is biblical. The Bible says, if you do not take care of the property that does not belong to you, who will give you yours?
Right.
Is God saying, when you find yourself in a situation when you are working for somebody, work for that somebody as if you are working for God. Why? Because God is the ultimate wonder.
Yes.
So for me, all along I have known, I do not have to kill you and to destroy your business, Njeri, for me to get a business. I know when God created me, he created me with my blessing.
Esther, what you're saying, if
Yeah.
I'm getting it right, you've worked for 10 years.
Yes.
You have some clients who
Yes.
like you
Yes.
and who trust you, but then you leave your company and you don't live with them.
I did not live with them.
You could have, but you
I
didn't.
could have. And so,
Wow, that
and
is,
so, yeah, absolutely.
that is
And so
unique.
I started from zero, and maybe 1 or 2 later came after
Yes.
whatever, but I'm not the one who looked for me. But let me tell you, the biggest client that actually kept me going for more than 5 years was a new client, and that was the late Dagamaros. It was then that he was establishing his business. So he appointed me as his restructuring consultant, as his internal auditor, and for 5 years, I faithfully again worked for him as my major client.
That is so key, because
Yeah.
it's not just in the marketplace, but we see that even in churches. So there is an assistant or associate pastor, and maybe God has gifted them like he had gifted you, but when you leave the church to form your own, you leave with half the audience. Half the congregation goes with you. In fact, there's a church in the US that I attended where somebody sent us letters to tell us, I have formed a new church. And I called my pastor and said, did you give this list to this person? He said no, but he was trying to poach. The fact that you didn't poach after 10 years is amazing.
I didn't push. I wouldn't do it even today, because I have come, and I thank God that I've reached at that level, to a position where I do sincerely believe that what is mine is mine.
Is yours.
One time, let me tell you, share with you a little story, and it will help. One time in my sleep, it was said in Kikuyu, so now, but I'll
Go
say
ahead.
it now in
Yeah.
English, and it was about the 10 commandments, the commandment that says, do not covet other people's things,
I'd like to
properties.
hear that in Kikuyu. How does it sound?
Okay.
Okay.
For me, that's what I had.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I woke up in the
Like,
morning.
do not like other people's things. That's how it sounds in Kikuyu.
Yes, but it is that one
Yes,
of those
do not covet,
commandments.
yes.
You get what I mean?
Yes.
And I woke up, Njeri, I know. You haven't read about the 10 commandments for a long time. Do you know they are in the Bible?
Right.
If I ask you where they are, you don't even know.
Exodus, I know that much. But I trained with a group called the Navigators, so we are very good with the Bible. But continue.
So for me, I didn't know where it was.
Yes.
Last time I read about the 10 commandments, maybe when I was
Yes.
in school. So I
Yes.
woke up in the morning and I wanted to confirm, what is this about? Don't convert other people's properties or
Yes.
something like that, because that is what the interpretation was. And then, yes, I read and I confirmed, actually, it's a commandment.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm asking, and then, yes, it's a commandment. Then as I am meditating about it, I now start getting a revelation. And the revelation becomes that many people are missing their blessing because instead of celebrating the blessing of others, they are actually busy feeling jealousy, envying,
And coveting.
That's a word,
Yes.
and coveting other people's property. Because of that, God will never release your blessing until you know that my blessing are not your blessing, until you learn to celebrate me. So many people are blocking their blessings because they are carrying this sin, because it is a sin. Why is it one of the commandments? Let's not beautify it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
get? You are carrying this sin along your way, and you still expect God to bless you. It is about time we started now appreciating the blessings of the other. We start working as servants, because it is good to have a servanthood attitude.
Yes.
Because by so doing, you don't become a slave. You
Esther,
just
this
open
is what's
yourself
going
a little.
on.
Oh, yes.
We have like 3 minutes.
Yes.
And yet here is a big question. I think we have to continue in another setting, because this is the question. On one hand, there are motivation speakers, and there are people we look up to. Kipchoge just broke the world record because he saw Sang Langat run. And so he decided, in Eldoret, there were all these runners. He wants to be a runner. And so that's what made him run. So I see your business, and I want to be like you. So where is this line? If I want to be like you, and I want what you have, because if I see your car, I want a car like that. And it motivates me, right? You know how you go to the rural areas and the kids run around and they pretend to drive like you? Now you're saying, do not covet other people's things. I don't even know whether you are able to answer that. On one hand, do not covet. On the other, we are being told, here is an example.
I think for me, it is the spirit behind that actually makes the difference. One of the things that statements that I have made is that good people compete.
Yes, that's the word. That's what I was trying to say. Yes, I want to compete with you.
Great people dominate.
Ooh.
You get.
Say that again.
Good people compete, great people dominate. When you are walking and seeking to dominate, it is not about other people. It's about you living your purpose to the very, very best you can be.
Yes.
It's about you are releasing yourself to create a measure of success that is beyond your understanding. When I was doing my, what do you call it, my strategy for the next 5 years, and I had to call a consultant because that is one of the most difficult things that I find myself wanting to do. And one of the questions he wanted to ask me all the time, and I was finding it so difficult to answer it, is how do I quantify in numbers where I want to be 5 years down the line?
Oh, I hate that question.
Oh my God, me, I couldn't answer it. How?
Right.
But they are asking us this question, and I struggled with it because we were not going anywhere without the answer. But at the end of the day, I remembered that for me, what I pursue is greatness.
Esther.
So when I achieve
This is
one
what I'm going to
greatness
do.
now,
This is what I'm going to do.
oh yes,
This answer of where will I be 5 years from now and all that,
Yeah.
we are discussing it in the next program.
that's awesome.
Because that gives you more time.
Yes, that's awesome.
I know you have been blessed by the program, and because you've been blessed, you are going to invite other people to be blessed equally. Don't be selfish. God can feed all of us. So invite other people to come to the program every Thursday, 12:30 to 2:30. May God bless you. Have a wonderful week. Amen.
Thank you so much for choosing the Home Care Retreat Center, a place of serenity, a place of dignity, and a place of building your spirituality. We are so privileged to host you, and if you're looking for the directions coming from the current roundabout, you pass the Africa International University, and the immediate first left turn, you find that is Rhino Park Road. Go up that road, and before you get to the Resurrection Garden, you will find our premises, Home Care Retreat Center. Excited staff, serene environment, large grounds for your prayer, a place of serenity, a place of dignity, and a place of building your spirituality. Quality executive rooms to host you. God bless you, and see you there.
Njia ya uzima ni wewe Bwana, hakuna mwingine kama wewe Jehova Shama.